Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 2304 Southeast 141st Avenue here in Portland, Oregon. We're located at the rear of the guest house. There's two properties. Here's the guest house, and then up further there is the main house. We're at the kind of rear right corner of the home. 4-inch ABS cleanouts point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We're going to scope both homes, so we'll move up to other cleanouts here in just a bit. Here we go. I do have water running. I do have to keep the camera moving kind of quick because of how long the line is, but I will reel back slower. Everything's looking good so far. Very clean line. Okay, so as far as I'm going to be able to go from this point of access here, we got out to 143 feet, so I'm going to find out where we're at exactly, and then we're going to let this line drain out here for a few minutes. I did see a spot in the line where there was a pretty significant belly. There was quite a bit of debris built up in it. Lines of this length on flag lots, they can be notoriously difficult to keep the entire line in grade, and a lot of that has to do with the depth of the main in the street. They're generally intended for homes that are only 50 to 80 feet away, and so when you've got a line that's about 200 feet long, it can be difficult to grade a sewer line all the way out and have the entire line drain properly where there's no standing water at all. So we're going to check for the major standing water here. There was one spot, though, where there was quite a bit of debris sitting in the line, so we'll find that on the way back. I'm going to go ahead and start rolling back the camera. I've had the water turned off in the guest house now for a few minutes, about 5 minutes now. You can see there is some standing water, which is not uncommon on lines of this length. It's very minimal in most places, only about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. In that spot there, we do have some standing water. The camera head, you got to keep in mind, the top of the lens is a 1/2 inch off the bottom of the pipe. So what we're looking at here is right around 1/4 of an inch of standing water. And there's no major big chunky debris built up around these spots here. The line itself is clean. I don't see a lot of debris or anything stuck to the top of the pipe. So it looks like for the most part the line is able to clear out here, but I am looking for the spots where there's the most significant amount of debris. As you can see here, we've gone through a pretty large section of pipe there with standing water. The depth of the standing water itself starts mattering less once it's over a significant length of the pipe. They kind of accomplish the same thing. You can see here we're starting to see debris build up, chunks of debris on the sidewall. And so this is a belly here where I am going to recommend repair. There was a lot of debris, and it's worth talking to the repair guys because of the length of the line, how much they can adjust the depth of the line. That does become an issue. They often have to grade these things very shallow and subtly all the way out to make it to the main lateral. Okay, so I'm going to map out the looks like the more significant of the bellies in the line here, where you can see the chunks of debris getting stuck. The hard part is it's just the overall length of the line. So I would recommend having a repair contractor take a look at the video, maybe come out here and kind of see the length of what the line has to be. It's a pretty long flat lot. An ejector system might be a good idea to eject the stuff from the guest house up to beyond where the main house sits, and then from that point let gravity take over. As right now, it doesn't sound like there's really hardly anybody living in this. It looks like a workspace, so if you have multiple people living in this house, my guess would that you'd see a lot more debris sitting in the line. I'm going to push out here to the end of this belly here real quick, and I will map this one out. And again, there's standing water beyond this, but I see a lot less debris in it. More than anything, the water is just a little murky. Looks like most of the stuff's getting hung up here in this first spot. It looks like the belly dissipates here at about 83 feet out, so I'll mark with an X at either end, green X. Alrighty, so I did do a marking here, green X. We're here at 84 feet essentially. And we're at if you're looking at the front of the main house, it's on the right side. Only about 2 feet, 5 inches deep. Quite shallow, so easy to dig down to. And it's looking like we've got about an inch, inch and a half, possibly more standing water here. It's all the way up over the top of the camera head. Quite a lot of debris. And it's especially concerning when you have the big chunks of debris. Sounds like we have a toilet flush coming down the line, but it looks like the belly starts here about 67 feet. And again, this is it's looking like the more significant of the sections of standing water. There is standing water beyond this point, and it's over a pretty lengthy section of the pipe, which is why an ejector system might be a good idea. That could eject everything up to where gravity could take over at the main house. It's a possibility anyway. I don't know if that can be done, but I have seen that on quite a few flag lots like this with a guest house that's really far back. So I'm going to do a marking here at 66 feet. Again, this will also be on the right side of the main house. Okay, I did a marking here, also with the green X, getting the depth of about 2 feet. It's about 2 feet across the that whole belly there. We did just have some water come down the line from toilet flush and stuff. So. But yeah, beyond that that first major belly there in the line, it looks like we do have, you know, a little bit of standing water here throughout, which again is it's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to grade lines of this length. It's hard to guarantee that much length of pipe in the ground isn't going to shift at all. And you can see we do have a thin skip of standing water through this section of the line too. So the majority of the line here from the guest house, at least up to 143 feet, which I think is around out front of the main home, does have standing water in it, which is why I'm not mapping out the entire thing. If it's decided that they want to regrade the line, it's most of it that's going to need repair, which is why I'm hoping like an ejector system or something can be done, which will eliminate the need to have a line properly and grade for that length. But it's kind of up to the repair guys in this situation. I think it's a good idea for repair contractors to come out here and see what the options are. But you can see that most of the line here is clean. This thin skip of standing water doesn't affect flow all that much at all. You can see how clean the line is. It doesn't look like anything is getting hung up. The major standing water starts at about 66 feet, ends around 81 or 82 feet. And then from 84 feet. And then out beyond 84 feet, there's more spots where there's about a quarter to a half inch of standing water in a pretty significant portion of the pipe beyond that belly. I would at the very least recommend regrading that first major belly there, where it looks like there's at least 1.5 inches of standing water after going back through there. I'm going to now move up to the clean out in front of the main home. Okay, we're now here at the front of the main house. Right in front, there's a 4-inch clean out under a valve cover box. Okay, here at 42 feet from the second point of access, which is the clean out in front of the main house, transitions over to 6-inch PVC pipe. I did see some debris in the beginning of the line, although the line looks like it's draining. I think that debris is likely from the guest house tying in. That stuff's moving so slowly by the time it gets here that it's just not moving all that well out of there. And then here at 71 feet, we have reached the main lateral out on southeast 141st. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling back here. You can see we've got some debris here in the line, but it looks like the line is actually draining out. There's just debris there, and I think that's likely from the debris from the guest house just moving so slow. By the time it gets here, it starts collecting. Doing a hydrojet would be a good idea to get all this debris cleaned out of the line. But again, I think that, and this right here, it looks like I can see a tie-in there from the left side. That looks like where the, I think the guest house is tying in here at. I can see debris stuck right in the opening of it. So, it looks like the line from the house out to the main lateral is draining quite well. There is a little bit of standing water here right where it ties in. But I would imagine that the repair guys are going to address that if they can negotiate some sort of repair. But from the house out to the main lateral, line is draining. So if they can get everything to drain properly all the way up to the front of the house, from that point on, I think the main house line should allow it to drain through there. But right now, it's starting to build up in here because it's moving so slow. So I would say that the line from the main house to the street is functioning properly at this time, but from the guest house, I would recommend some repair work to correct the slope and grade, or see if an ejector system can be installed to force everything all the way up to the front of the main home. Either way, though, I think a repair contractor needs to assess the situation with the guest house and come up with some options. And again, I mapped out just the most significant belly in the line. Beyond that belly, there is standing water. But I would like to see if the repair contractors can assess the situation.